Today on Atlanta and Company, our summer backyard tour makes a stop at Stone Mountain Park. We'll also let you know how summer camp at the YMCA can enrich your child's life. And Herzing University wants to help you start a new career. It's all coming up right now on Atlanta and Company. Welcome to Atlanta and Company. I am Rashawn Ali, in for the vacationing Christine Pilara. Now it's summer, and that means your kids will be looking for fun things to do. Going to camp can enrich a child's life, and a great camp is right here in Atlanta. And here to tell us about it, YMCA Camp High Harbor is Executive Director Ken O'Kelly. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Definitely. Now first, let's talk about the YMCA. Tell us about the history of the organization.
Well, the YMCA is 152 years old. It's here in Atlanta, one of the largest child care providers in all of Atlanta. And we have 29 branches, and one of those branches is YMCA Camp High Harbor.
Yes. Now, how long have you been with the YMCA and Camp High Harbor?
This will be my 23rd summer at camp.
3 years.
Yeah, long time, but
yes.
I've seen a lot of lives change in that time.
Definitely. Now, you're a father whose children also went to camp, so you understand the importance of the camp. And talk a little bit about that.
Oh, absolutely. And I do. I come at it for two different angles, as a camp director, but as you said, as a parent. And I've watched my children come through this program. And, you know, when it comes to self-esteem, self-concept, when it comes to learn how to deal with other people, there's no better teacher that I've seen than camp. And, you know, camp is a great teacher of independence. It's a great vessel for moving a camper from dependence to independence. So that's what we want for our children. That's what I want for my children.
Okay. Now, talk a little bit more about Camp High Harbor and how is it different from the other camps that any child could go to?
Well, YMCA Camp High Harbor, we have two sites. We have one at Lake Burton, and we have another one at Raven Gap. And we serve about 4,000 kids during the summertime. It's a general program. It's not a specific camp like a sports camp, but it's a general camp in the way that we offer a lot of activities. You know, anything from horseback riding to team sports, archery. You have the climbing towers for our adventure center, and then we have all the water activities. So it's a unique program in the way that it is still general. And the program is really teaching kids how to get along with other people. Okay.
Now, there are several options, obviously, in Atlanta. People can go to a day camp. But what are the benefits of having going to a sleepover camp?
Well, it's good. A sleepover, a residential camp, you know, it is different from day camp. Day camp, you go to camp and then you leave that afternoon or that evening. And, you know, for a resident camp, what I love about this is it's sort of the equalizer. The parents are not there, and this is a great teacher for these kids to move into that independence I was talking about. That's what the difference is in the afternoons and the evenings, and then carrying on throughout a week. Young people learn how to deal with issues themselves, whether it's their presentation to other people and how they communicate. And it's been a great teacher for a lot of young people.
So you can't depend on mommy and daddy at that moment.
That's right. And again, when you go back to self-concept and self-esteem, this is where that builds, and you get the momentum for this at an early age. And that's why, you know, from 7 to 15, this is a critical growing and a building phase and building blocks for us to become more helpful adults.
Now, for a parent whose child has never attended camp, what advice can you share with them about preparing them to go, and then also preparing the parent to let go?
Very good. A great question, especially talking about the parents. And, you know, in this process of getting them ready, you know, the 5 P's come into play here. Prior planning prevents poor performance. So we want them to perform well, and we have to prepare them for that. And what that means is, you know, we're afraid of the unknown. So being able to prepare them by talking to them about things you do know, like the daily schedule. And as parents, we need to prepare them emotionally for this by going through and talking about the schedule, talking about the things they can do. This starts to build that excitement on all the new skills they're going to learn. And there are things to do, like give them the schedule, and there's things not to do as well.
Okay, now what would you say a child needs to bring to camp?
bringing things to camp. First of all, we have a place on our website and all camps do this, where you have a picture of what you do want them to bring to camp in preparation. And I would encourage the parents to involve the camper in that preparation by going shopping with them, and this builds that excitement. They will know what to bring, and don't bring your nicest clothes. You're going to be at camp. And the other thing, there are things not to bring, and we go to cell phones, and this day and age we have that technology, and that sometimes becomes a hindrance. Right. So those things not to bring.
Right. Now, at your camp, what type of communication do the children have with their loved ones? Like, how often can they call, or do you encourage them to call every day, or just stay awake for a week?
Another really good question. And the issue is, as far as communication, we have a great system in email. It's fast. It happens the same day, and you can do letters as well. Okay. But the issue is there's no calling. And,
really?
There's been times where I've had a 7- or 8-year-old bring a cell phone. I'm going, you can't do that. And parents, look, no news is good news. Just know that they're going to be fine. And also, we have a website, highharbornews.com, that is while the camper's there at camp, the parent is able to get updates. And so we have pictures that we throw out on the internet, so the parents can look every day and see those pictures of their children.
Well, that's a good thing. But how do you handle a child that becomes homesick?
Homesick.
Yeah.
Well, homesick's a real thing. I remember when I was at camp, it was really that way for me. But the way to deal with those, and it's going to happen. We have it happen. But we train our staff. We go through a lot of staff training on being sensitive to children and their needs and what we want them to have at camp. And when it comes to homesickness, involving them in activities, and this is where the parents can help on not saying, honey, I'm going to miss you so much. Right. But again, homesickness, the end of it is keep it simple and assign them to tasks, allow them to do things, and get an alumni camper to come and spend time with them, so that resolves some of the homesickness. Okay, good. Now, how's your staff prepared to handle the unexpected, like last year's breakout of the H1N1 virus? Well, it's a good thing. And as I said earlier, staff training is everything. The way that I sleep and parents can sleep well at night is know that we have well-trained staff that are really sensitive to the needs of these campers. And yes, as you said, the H1N1, we and everybody else got hit with that last year. Right. But the training comes into the operation of camp and how we operate and how we continue business as usual. But we've set up systems like this website that informs parents while the campers are at camp on how we handle things like that. We do have screening where we will screen as they come in, temperatures and things of that nature, to protect everybody from H1N1 or something else of that nature. Okay, now tell us the locations of the camp once again. YMCA Camp Harbour Services is the name of the camp and of the YMCA of Atlanta, and we have two locations. One is on Lake Burton, which is 9 miles southwest of Clayton, Georgia, and then we have one called Raven Gap, which is actually housed at the Raven Gap Nacoochee School. Beautiful place, which is 6 miles north of Clayton, Georgia. Okay, that sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, Ken. Thank you very much.